If you've worked with our office before to acquire a Medicaid compliant annuity for your senior clients, chances are you might have received an annuity recommendation for ELCO Mutual. Today, I'm excited to introduce Bill Bruce from ELCO Mutual. His career at ELCO began in 2017 as a marketing analyst and has since led him to his current position as Vice President of Operations. Bill brings a wealth of experience to our discussion where he'll shed some light on ELCO's history, how they ventured into the Medicaid compliant annuity business, and the reason you may not have come across their name until partnering with Krause Financial. Hi, Bill. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day out here outside the rain, but it's the summer and you can't complain about the weather.
Excellent. I love to hear that. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a different topic because we get to talk about one of our carriers and kind of get some behind the scenes background information. So you are the VP of Operations for ELCO Mutual. So tell me a little bit about ELCO's history. When was it established and how did you get into the MCA business?
Sure. So ELCO Mutual was actually established back in 1946 as a test site for an actuarial consulting firm. Our owner of the firm at the time was coming up with all these ideas for niche products and was just really having trouble getting his clients to buy into these ideas. So to show them they worked, what he ended up doing is that he decided to create his own insurance company. And that was Employees Life at the time. We hadn't added the mutual on. That was not until the 70s. But he created Employees Life to test these products out. Over time, the company, kept growing, obviously, and we kept getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. And eventually we took a life on of our own and became our own, self-sustaining organization. So back in '96, we were approached by a couple individuals, agents, about assisting with an MCA product and actually helping them with maybe developing an insurance company that they would later buy back from us to sell the MCA product. And we were originally just supposed to be a stopgap for that, and we were issuing the products. And then over time, the two agents just said, "Well, if Elco's already doing it, why would we go out of our way to start another insurance company? Let's just keep having Elco do it." And that was kind of our stepping stone into that product line.
Okay, that's really interesting because you don't really get to hear that backstory of how people get started in providing a product. So there are a number of different insurance products that also could have been provided as well. What was the reason that it specifically drew Medicaid compliant annuities and ELCO together?
So I think the best way of looking at it is that we specialize in helping seniors. And one of the most important parts of any senior's, financial journey is that end of life process, and everybody just associates that with death. But unfortunately, there is this gap of time between when you're in your home to the point where you pass away, where, there is an unfortunate standpoint where most people don't get to just stay at home the whole time. They end up having to go into nursing care, assisted living. And when you look at the Medicaid compliant annuity, that can help with that aspect of the journey with preserving that person's assets. So, when you look at all the other products out there that help people accrue wealth, there's that's great, but there isn't much out there for protecting it once you get into those nursing home situations. The need was clearly there, and we always try to strive to put our policyholders in the best spot. So this was just an absolute fit for us back in the 90s. And I got to talk to Richard Leach, who obviously was one of the core founders within ELCO of that product, who really helped bring that to light. Same thing with our CEO, David Bruce. So we talked about that a little bit, and I know that they just said it absolutely made sense for us, where we like our niche products, and this was one for us that was just an absolute fit.
Okay, so why exactly did you decide to partner with Krause Financial versus other agencies in the industry to provide the Medicaid compliant annuity product?
So we chose to partner with the Krause Financial Services team because, at the time when we decided to continue to expand into this marketplace, we only really had two big distributors, and that was Dale and another individual who originally helped us start this, get into this business. Dale and that individual ended up working on a deal, and frankly, it's been a great relationship since. We've never have been interested in looking for an outside partner for the MCA business because, frankly, Krause has always been the gold standard for this line of business. You guys know everything from the Medicaid limitations, what's going to pass through the Medicaid offices, what these impacts are, the suitability of these sales. And you have that network of elder law attorneys who really just know how to help these clients. So frankly, for us, it's just been one of those things where we've never had to look outside here. And why would you ever do that when you have the gold standard?
Perfect. So that brings up a really good question I was wondering. So you guys have been providing the Medicaid compliant annuity product for quite a few years now and working with Krause Financial. So as a insurance provider that really understands such a niche product so well, what are some of the things that ELCO does specifically to make sure that the Medicaid annuity complies with the state requirements?
So a lot of it's actually done up front by the Krause team. So the nice thing is that we have these great group of dedicated agents, and then obviously the staff at Krause that scrubs everything, make sure everything looks good before it gets to us. We do our regular due diligence too and check life expectancy just to verify that everything is up to code as well there to make sure it's not going out past anything. And then obviously the structure of making sure beneficiary designations have been accurately put in and all that, are just some of our routine checks during the new business processes. So a lot of it's done by the team at Krause, and then obviously we just kind of routinely audit to make sure that everything is on the up and up.
Perfect. So let's dive into kind of some nuances or some frequently asked questions that we receive about the Medicaid annuity. So can you kind of walk me through what happens to the annuity if the annuitant passes away during the MCA term?
Yeah, so in most cases, what's going to happen is that if the person passes away before the payout period has completed, the first and foremost is that if they've been receiving Medicaid benefits, obviously the state has the first ability to come and recover those assets and see what's eligible for them. Everything in excess of that, the beneficiaries are going to be given the opportunities to either continue the stream of payments for the remaining payout period, or they can take it as a lump sum at a commuted value. So what I mean by that is that there is going to be a net present value calculation to discount the money. However, the beneficiaries gain access to all of it right there.
So a little bit about some of the products that you offer through ELCO. So how does ELCO manage and balance short-term business with the shorter-term annuities and then long-term business to ensure it can maintain profitability?
So we offer other products as well. We offer a suite of multi-year guaranteed deferred annuities that have a lot of liquidity provisions within them that we've been establishing for quite a few years. Almost just as far back as the MCA.
So how does it help ELCO by providing a diversified product line with their financial strength rating?
So having a lot of diversification obviously is important from a rating standpoint because you need to diversify your risk, spread out your portfolio. And I won't bore you with all those details, but the one thing I will say is that it does help to diversify. But obviously, the MCA has been one of the main reasons why we've been such a strong financial company over the past 77 years. Our current rating with AM Best is actually B++, which is the 5th highest rating, I believe, if I recall right. So having that diversified portfolio and having such a strong primary product line in the MCAs really helps us from a financial strength standpoint.
Okay, so another common question that we receive with ELCO having been in the business for 77 years and with the financial strength rating that you have, why might clients still have not heard about ELCO until they start working with Krause Financial?
So there's a few different reasons for that. We started as a small organization, definitely more regional up until the 90s. Right at the time we got into the MCAs and deferred annuities is when our growth patterns started going. And part of that is from our size, and the other part of that's from our distribution model. We really primarily distribute through independent agents, and we don't really go out of our way to, go direct to consumer. So we don't spend a lot of time. We haven't spent a lot of time in the past on brand awareness. That's something obviously we're trying to improve so that everybody is aware about these great products we offer, such as the MCA. But those are a couple of the reasons why somebody may not have heard about us up until this point.
Perfect. I think that's really good information. I think our viewers are really going to appreciate this inside look into working with one of our insurance carriers. Thank you so much for your time today, Bill.
You're welcome, and I hope you have a great day as well.